Welcome to the Unshakeable Talks with me, Katy. This is where we talk about the unshakable women behind the businesses. We are lifting the lid on what it really takes to run a business, to scale a business, to get into business, while also creating a life you love. On the Unshakeable Talks, we are all about talking about the conversations everyone is scared to talk about. We are really lifting the lid on what it really takes to become unshakable within business and life. At today's episode of the Unshakeable Talk, I'm speaking to Charmaine. Charmaine is the co-owner of Hertford Studios, a local photographer studio she's running with her husband. And we are speaking about everything from setting up this business, running a brick-and-mortar business, and more importantly, running a business with your husband. Welcome to the Unshakeable Talks, Charmaine. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
But I'm excited about this episode because I so far have interviewed a lot of women whose business is purely online based. So you're coming from a brick and mortar business, which is my original background. So I'm really, really excited about talking about your story. But before we go into what you're doing right now, I would like to speak about Charmaine before. What have you done before? And then we transition into how you came to do the business, what you're doing now, because there have been quite a few very interesting pivotal moments, haven't they?
Yeah, and all not expected at all.
Mm-hmm.
I never ever expected myself to be a business owner. It was never on my cards. It was never anything I aspired to be. I worked for a construction company that specialised in asbestos removal for 20 years. And literally grew throughout that business. I did everything from quality assurance, working in the tenders team, marketing, sales. I ran a whole sales team, office management, social media. When you're there for 20 years, you're part of the furniture and you kind of just take on and you understand every aspect of that business. So I was there for 20 years.
Was that a family business?
It was, yeah. And it was perfect. I loved it. I loved what I did. I loved the diversity of my role changing through the years. I wasn't stuck doing the same thing. But I loved who I worked for and I loved who I worked with. And it's not really until you look back that you kind of realise it was fantastic because I got to bring up my children in a much relaxed environment. So although I worked full time, I was able to be there for my children on the school runs. And
well, it was family business, so you had some perks other people wouldn't have as an employee. So
there were some benefits, and it's not until I left that I kind of realised actually I had no idea who I was. I didn't know what my purpose was. And I remember going on a walk with a friend once where I remember saying to her, like, what's your purpose? And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, but I feel like I'm supposed to have a purpose, but I'm not fulfilling it. And because she kind of fobbed me off, I thought, I'm just being crazy. Like, my mind's just, I've watched too much manifestation stuff and I'm quite a spiritual person. Yeah. I believe everything happens for a reason and people are put in your path for a reason, for either you to learn from or for you to teach them something, everything like that. So I always felt like there was this gap. I just didn't understand what it was. And then my... So he's my stepdad. So he sold the business to a much, much bigger corporation. And I got made redundant. And I was gutted, but it was the best thing that's ever happened to me.
But let's stay with this for a second here. Because, yes, it was the best thing in hindsight what ever happened to you. But you've been part of this business and building up this business as a family business for so long. And that now being taken away from you. I believe you were married at the time already. Were you married already and had a family?
Yeah, Rob and I've been together 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh, he deserves a medal.
Well, I'm celebrating 25 years of weddings this year.
I hope he's taking you somewhere nice.
Well, we're actually going on my daughter's graduation trip to Italy. So it's going to be a family affair.
Oh, that's going to be lovely.
It's going to be lovely, yeah. But we may do something at the end of the year. But coming back to the point when you were made redundant, that must have been also a kick in the gut for you. And also the whole security feeling of like losing this secure job.
Yeah, and at the time, I was gutted. I'm going to be completely honest. I was absolutely gutted. Not because I was worried about myself with my financial security. I'm raising two teenagers. They clean you out I think it's expensive having a toddler. My God, these teenagers. So it was not just that security. It was, I'd been part of that business for 20 years. How was I so disposable? So yeah, that took a lot to kind of come to terms with. But do you know what? I think it made me a much more resilient person with coming to my business.
And it also made you realize actually that you that you liked the working environment because it was a family business and everything. But what else did it make you realize? That you lost yourself. That's what you said to me.
Do you know what? I did say, I didn't realize that though until probably actually quite recently. Okay. I thought I knew exactly who I was. Apart from this gap that I felt I was always having of like, oh, there's a bigger purpose. My purpose isn't to just work and raise my children. Yeah. But it wasn't until I left that I was like, I had no idea who I was. I had no idea what I wanted, what my strengths were. I was actually quite an insecure person when I came out because I felt like I couldn't make any decisions. And when I really started having to make these decisions, I found it really hard to have faith in myself, to trust my instinct and trust my decisions. I felt that I had to always have somebody else's approval before I closed the deal on some things. Like my husband, I think I must have drove him mad because he'd be like, you know what to do. I was like, no, I don't. And he'd be like, no, you do. And I think he was the one that forced me to stop looking for this external validation or this external approval. He pushed me and was like, no, you are good at what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Believe in it. And stop asking me for help because I'm really busy.
But you got the validation you were seeking from him.
Oh, yeah.
From your inner circle. And I think it's really normal because, some people may listen and think, how can she not know and have trust in herself what she's doing if she moved through 20 years through so many aspects within business? Surely someone like Charmaine should know what to do. She should be secure in her abilities. And but it's a safety net, isn't it? It wasn't your company. It was a family business. Yeah. You've been put in those positions because they're trusted in you. You already had the validation.
Yeah. And I think as well, it was like everything in that company was part of a team. So there was never just one decision based on me. You always had to get a senior approval with things. And I'd got myself into that habit without realising that because we the company is led by regulations. Yeah. And it's so strict on health and safety. So every decision you make, even with pictures that you post online, are scrutinised by health and safety because that slight thing wrong. So everything had to get a higher approval. And then you don't realise when you go through that for 20 years. And the thing is as well, when people meet me, I come across like quite a confident.
Yeah, you do.
Like I'm a sure person. But I think for a long time it was just a front. Yeah. And it's not until now I'm in my business that I'm like, actually, it's taken me 2 years of this business to be like, no, this is what I'm sticking to. These are my morals. These are my boundaries. And this is what I'm sticking to. And now I tell Rob off for getting involved if I'm making a decision. Could you stop interfering?
I know. Let's speak about Rob for a little bit before we speak about Hertford Studios, which is your and Rob's business now. But Rob is a photographer now, but he hasn't always been a photographer. No. So let's because it's really important, that piece of your journey to actually understand what you're doing now. Let's touch up about this because I know you're happy to talk about it. There's a really traumatic moment within your relationship and for Rob, which actually put him on the path of being this great photographer and essentially then
we were never supposed to be on this. Well, I think we were always meant to be on this path, but Rob used to own a very, very successful recruitment business. I had, my children were 4 and 1. I had a nanny at home. It was lovely. And he caught the flu and ended up with meningitis, which we actually ended up with encephalitis, which is a form of meningitis on the brain. So he was rushed into hospital. He spent 3.5 weeks on an intravenous drip. Day 2, they prepared me and said he's got a 30% chance of survival. So that was a big shock. We got through it. Like, I won't go into all of the details. It's kind of his story.
Yeah, that's fine.
He, I mean, at one point he had drips and his veins started breaking down and the needles broke in him because his veins couldn't take anymore. But he is a fighter in every aspect of his life. He got out of it. And as he got out, not only did I book the wedding venue as well, by the way. He was in there. By the way.
Like you do.
Yeah. Well, I got fed up of the nurses saying, and how are you related? I'm like, the mother of his children, get out of the way.
Yeah.
You know, so, but he came out and he says, I'm leaving the business. I was like, what? No, you can't. And he was like, no, I'm leaving the business. At the time, he actually said he was going to buy the partner out. To and fro in between them. He then tried to start up his own recruitment business. His heart wasn't in it. He didn't want the stress. It was the stress that caused all of that. It was the stress that caused him to be so ill and his body broke down. And then he turned around and said, I'm going to be a photographer.
That's such a random thing to do.
Well, I know every parent, when you have kids, you all think you're a photographer, don't you? Like, you get your camera out and you go out and you buy a camera and you start taking, I mean, you bought cameras back then because we didn't have the iPhones. And you start taking these amazing pictures and you think you're great. And we had some amazing pictures of our kids. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to be a photographer. And I was thinking, what? I've got a wedding booked now, but we've got this lifestyle. We didn't live like this luxury lifestyle or anything, but we went on nice holidays. We didn't want for much, you know, we lived within our boundaries, but
so it needs to be able to get paid for, and also it's like the secure income all of a sudden.
We've still got a mortgage to pay for.
The risk.
Yeah. And I'm not a risk taker, and he's not a risk taker either. So for him to tell me he's taking this risk, I was like, where is this coming from? Are you having a midlife crisis? Or what's happening? And he was like, no, I'm going to. And I said, right, okay. So we sat down, we worked it out. We were like, we've got these savings. And I was quite tough. I was like, you've got 6 months. If you're not bringing in an income within 6 months, then you go and get a job.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. That's all we could afford. And credit where he's due, he didn't touch our savings once. And his first major client was Google. So,
how amazing is that?
He's the hardest worker I think I've ever met, and he's the best salesman as well I've ever met. And going from there, he's grown the business so much that in 2021 I was working part-time because his dad used to help. His dad passed away at the end of COVID, and so I started helping in the evenings, and I was up till like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, doing his invoicing, sorting out the jobs that were booked in and things like that. And his business was very up and down. So if he was really busy 1 month, the next month would be really quiet, and then he'd concentrate on sales, and then the next month would be really busy. So I started helping out in the evenings, and then it got too much. I was absolutely shattered.
Yeah.
And especially with, you know, kids with their after school clubs, and my daughter was playing really high level netball, and I was like out 4 or 5 times in the evenings a week anyway. So I spoke to my stepdad about it, and he was like, it's the most supportive person. He's been like my biggest cheerleader as well. My family is big in my life. And he was like, look, just do part-time. Do part-time with me and part-time with him, and then you can see how we get on from there. And it worked really well. Well, I thought it worked really well. And then I got made... Well, actually, I'll go back a couple of steps.
Yeah.
He needed a bigger studio.
Yeah.
His business has been growing over the last few years. And... he needed a bigger studio, but we were looking for something just a little bit bigger than what he was in at the moment at that time. And the same week we looked at where we're at now, I got made redundant. So it was like the stars aligned.
Yeah.
Because I said to Rob, I was like, this is way bigger than what we anticipated and way too big for you. But you can't be the only photographer in Hertfordshire that needs a space.
Yeah.
And let's be fair, we live in quite an affluent area. Like
yes,
Hertford is, and Hertfordshire is an affluent area. These people, these marketing managers, these directors, these company owners, let's be fair, most of them live out here.
Yeah.
And they're travelling into London to do these shoots. Let's do this and we'll run it as a separate business. And that's when Hertford Studios was born. So we have Rob's business where he's a photographer. He's a commercial photographer and videographer. Works for some really big brands and some really big names. And then we've got the studio that runs separately. So if he wants to use it, he rents the studio. And if we need a photographer, we rent him, or we now work with loads of photographers. So
And this is where we met,
And this
because
is-
my journey really began with my first shoot.
Your shoot, I've got to say, has been one of my favourite. I'm sorry if others are listening, because I've loved so many of the shoots. But I remember I was in the studio on my own that day, and you came in with this entourage. That's the only way I could explain it. This entourage of badass women, and all I could hear upstairs was so much laughter and power, like the way that you cheered for each other. And I remember sitting there thinking, that's why I started this.
Yeah.
For women like you to be downstairs, surrounded by other business owners, cheering each other on.
I didn't feel like it. I was so nervous at my first shoot. This was such a
weren't.
big step for me. Yeah, it was. But I hear what you're saying. It was an amazing experience. And I had obviously the photographer there, but also friends and people around me, like really chipping in and making sure this
They
is...
were there for you. Didn't you even have a baby come in?
Yes, we had a baby coming. I know someone said, who the hell gets a baby for their shoot?
Who gets a baby for their
The Unshakable
shoot?
Woman does.
Yeah, absolutely. If anybody you do.
Yes, we did have a baby, because at the
Yeah.
time my business was very much and focused on the life balance between business and motherhood.
Oh, okay.
And my friend said, oh, my friend just had a baby. She doesn't mind having it photographed. And she happened to live in the area. So she called her, and within like
Oh
a
my
half an
God.
hour, the baby was
And you
there.
just have it like,
It wasn't
I could
even
get
planned.
a baby. Hold on a second.
No, but this is just the first time we met. So
Yeah.
you were recommended to me, and I just came to the studio, had a look, and I booked the
Yeah.
studio. It worked for me because it was local, like exactly what it
Yeah.
described. My photographer actually came from Cambridge, so from further afield.
It's not that far really though, is it?
No, not that far, but traditionally she would book a London studio.
Yeah.
And in my head, it was like, oh my God, I have to now, it's my first shoot. I'm so nervous. I had about 500 million outfits and only wore 3 kind of thing.
And
So-
there's no parking in
no,
London.
there's no parking. No, I don't really like to go on the tube as it is. So I
Yeah.
have to track everything on the tube, or I book a driver. And it's just a big,
Yeah.
big thing. So I came across your studio and I saw it and I'm like, yeah, Hertford, great. It's close to me. I'm going
We'd
to...
not long been open, had we?
Well, I didn't know this at the time
Yeah.
because my shoot was last year in March. So it
Yeah.
would have, when this episode airs, it would have been around about a year ago. Can
So
you
we'd literally
believe
been
this?
open 4 months.
I didn't
Yeah.
know this at all.
Which is why I think seeing all of you women in there
Yeah.
was such a big thing for me, because I
Yeah.
was like, you were one of the first really to have a whole team and really utilise the whole of the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've got the white areas for brands to get their e-com shots, but we've also got all these different sets.
The lifestyle
And
areas.
You
and
were pretty
everything,
much
yeah.
the first one to kind of go, right, I want my power shots on this white background, and then I forgot you lying on a sofa as well, I think.
Yeah, we did the sofa, we did the
Yeah,
laptop on
like-
the hill, we did all
Yeah.
sorts of shoots. I
And you
even used my
utilised-
car, which my husband wasn't really happy about because that was a new car. So, but
When you laying on the bonnet?
I know. And they're like, you can't do that.
Yes, I can.
Yes, I can. Here we go. But no, we had such a good time. And really, from this point on, I've been obviously watching you. And
Yeah, it's been a journey, that's for sure.
yeah, from a business perspective, but also I want to talk to you about the dynamics of actually having a business with your husband. Because I'm going to be honest, my husband and I, we have tried.
Yeah.
And our relationship is like, I mean, people will vouch for this, amazing.
Yeah.
And he is my biggest supporter.
Well, 25 years counts for something.
Yeah, but working together is not the best idea because we are very, very different people. So how does tell me how it works, because I would love to work with my husband. Well, not anymore, but the idea was to work with
Rob's
my husband.
actually got a funny, his saying is big monitors. So I'm not joking, Rob's monitor must be that big. It's huge. And he sits on the other side. It's not a massive office, but he sits on one side, I sit on the other side, and I don't see his face because his monitor is that big. My saying is make sure he's booked out all the time. Mm-hmm. So he's not actually in the office much during the day.
Yeah.
So, but then the problem with that is when we're home, all we talk about is work. And when you've got teenagers, you need to be really present for teenagers.
Yeah.
So it has been challenging. I'm Greek as well. So I'm very fiery. I've got a very passionate way of, I call it passionate way of expressing my emotions. I'm a screamer, I'm a shouter. Even my daughter was saying the other day, like, sometimes you are so unnecessary. Like, my kids are really calm. Maybe my daughter isn't all the time, but quite calm. And Rob is very calm. But when I've got something to say.
You're passionate.
Yeah. So if something goes wrong, I'm the crier, I'm the shouter, and Rob is just, it's fine. It's going to work out. It's not a problem. Which frustrates me even more, because at the start, when you've never run a business before, and you see all these challenges and you're learning new skills all the time, it's hard. It's really hard. But the good thing is, I suppose, with Rob, it took us a while, but we bounce off of each other now. So I know his strengths, his creative vision and his skills are phenomenal. And he doubts himself all the time. He'll still say, I'm not a professional photographer, and I want to shake him because his work is amazing. And I'm not just saying that because it's him. Like, I would tell him if he's done something and I'm like, you could have done a bit better there. So he's amazing at that, and he knows my strengths of keeping everything just running in the background, you know.
But you know, when you say this, I have a similar situation within my circle of friends. They're working together, and in that case, the husband doesn't necessarily understand, and therefore then not appreciate to the extent he should.
Yeah.
What his wife actually is putting in. And I don't want to name anyone, that's why I'm being careful here. And it's obviously a conversation we as friends, as women have, because I had a similar situation where everyone around me always said, oh, Marcus is so good. I wish my husband would support me the way he supports you. And yes, my husband is amazing. He's my biggest cheerleader. But there was a time within my business journey where I was seeking a different kind of support.
Yeah.
And it took me actually quite a while to be able to communicate this. Yeah. And I think communication is a huge part. Like my friend, there was no communication between them about this. So I said to her, he actually doesn't understand what you're doing.
And the thing is unless you tell someone, whether they're a man or a woman, what you're going through, they're not going to know. Yeah. Communication is key in every aspect of our life, whether it's dealing with a house renovation that we've done, or raising our kids, or running our business. Communication is the biggest thing. Yeah. Because if you're going to be a partnership, you need to be a partnership, and they need to understand every level. Yes. He's going to say, you dug me out. He does sometimes say, oh, you just sit at your desk all day. Like, what do you even do?
What do I do?
What do I do?
Oh, they do.
And I'm like, you have no idea. I don't even know. Some days I have no idea. I've come away, I'm like, what have I actually done today? But then you go back and you realise, well, I've dealt with these clients, I've done this invoicing, I've had to do the accounting, I've had to look at social media, and I've got help now as well. So it's like, but still, every day for me is different. But he'll still be like, well, it's all right for you. You sit at a desk all day, especially when he's out like at 6 o'clock in the morning on construction sites.
Because his part of the work feels very hard at this point, and he doesn't see what you're doing. Yeah. He can't comprehend and understand it. And that's where the communication piece again comes in so important,
so
isn't it?
Every day we have a catch up it's not a planned thing, but it's something that I'm quite big on. Like, I will go, especially if he's been out on site all day, we do it on those days mainly. I'll go through, like, this is what's happened today. Yeah. These are the inquiries that have come in. This is where we're at with that project. This is what's going on. 9 times out of the 10, he'll say to me 2 days later, where are we at with that project? Like, do you not listen? But yeah, the communication is a massive thing. And I will talk to him as well about the parts that I'm struggling with and where I need him to step up. And likewise, he will say, can you deal with that? I mean, he just tells me, do you deal with that? You do, you know. So yeah, communication is the biggest thing. I don't think you can work together. I don't think you can even raise kids together unless you've got communication.
Let's speak about the kids, because
my babies.
The one thing which always comes up with every woman I speak to is obviously the home life and the family, especially if we are running businesses. Yeah. Which can be extremely consuming at times, and you go for seasons. Sometimes you're managing better, sometimes you're getting more overwhelmed. Yeah. And especially when you have teenagers.
Do you know what, though? I'd say that's quite a good thing that mine were teenagers and not toddlers, because toddlers don't understand and you can't really explain it to them. Whereas mine were teenagers when I started. So when we was there renovating and building the studio, we were there 7 days a week. Some nights I was there till midnight, and I could phone my kids and say, look, I'd come away, pick them up from school, take them to wherever they needed to go back. And that's kind of what I still do now. I pick up my son from school, I go back to the studio, and then I'm home, and then I cook dinner. And dinner's a big thing. We sit at the not at the table or the breakfast bar. We have dinner together as much as we possibly can.
We do the same.
Yeah, no phones.
It's the one thing,
You know, even if we sit there in silence, we sit there together. But my kids, because they were teenagers, they could understand. But then you've got the flip side of they're teenagers. They're being a teenager, sucks at the moment in this life. You know, the amount of pressure they've got to fit into society, and you're trying to raise strong, independent, resilient, you know, all these other things, people. But I think, again, you come back to communication. I spoke to them, we talked about it, and I really hope they don't resent me for it. But it's a juggle, isn't it? You know, some weeks I'm home, some weeks I'm not.
I think it is a struggle, and I really had to learn this to kind of navigate that kind of guilt. And I do think my daughter definitely resented me at times.
How old was she when you...
Oh, I've always been having businesses since she was 4 years old. So she pretty much
grew up with it,
around
knowing
this.
Mum's working, Mum's busy.
But I don't know, but I think because obviously for me, it was always my ego trip. I call it my little ego trip to work. I never had to financially work. So I made a choice because I wanted to do this for myself.
Yeah.
And that's almost as glamorous as this sounds. But when it comes to mum guilt and resentment and everything else, it's even worse.
Oh, the mum guilt.
Because I'm pretty sure she thought at times, why is mum working? Why do I have to have a nanny? Because she doesn't have to.
Do you not think, though, now that she's older, that she's gone, oh my God, I'm so proud of my mum because she kept to her own identity. Like she she didn't just, and I've got nothing against stay-at-home mums.
Me
and
neither.
things like that. It was never something I wanted to do. I remember having that conversation with Rob. If you want a stay-at-home wife, I'm not the one to get with. I've always wanted to work. And I don't, so I take my hat off to stay-at-home mums.
Me too.
But do you not think that with the way that she's been brought up, watching you, that's given her own inner strength? Because it's like, if my mum can do it, I can do it.
I think so, and I hope so. But
I've just met her and had the most amazing conversation with her. She's such a beautiful, intelligent, just gorgeous soul girl.
Thank you.
So you've definitely done a brilliant job there.
She is, and she's extremely ambitious. But I think
you had something to do with that.
Oh, definitely.
There you go.
Definitely. She's a good combination between my husband and me. Absolutely. I take it. Thank you. But I also think her dream is actually to be a mum of 4 kids.
Oh, wow. 4.
I think she wants multiple children. I think her dream is to have her own business maybe one day, but her dream is to be a mum.
Yeah.
I don't think she will be a full-time mum because she's very ambitious.
Very ambitious. Just spending like half an hour with her. She's very ambitious.
It's still, I think, even if you inspire something or find something inspiring and motivational and everything, it still doesn't take away that you see the downside of something. And let's face it, female entrepreneurship, and I say female entrepreneurship is because us women, especially when we're mum, working, is just different.
Oh my God, it's so different.
Men, and it comes with different challenges.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
I'm guessing you interviewed people when you were
at work
in like a corporate environment. If you interviewed a man, did you ever say, or even not when you interviewed, like when you speak to someone, oh, so you're a working dad?
No,
but you get working mums. So why is it different? And that's
I'm gonna out myself in this. I had predominantly female employees in my old company with being cleaners. Yeah. In my office, however, I did employ men, but I was predominantly employing females. And I, as an employer of 45 plus females employers, I don't believe in this whole aspect of it shouldn't matter that you're a female, that you're a mum. I think it does matter.
It does matter.
I think it
that's
matters.
Why it's harder for us as well.
Yeah, it makes it different hard. I think it matters in a positive way. It matters. We are more nurturing. We see things differently. Therefore, we work differently, especially in a customer-facing environment. I think there are huge benefits of hiring women or being a woman. But from an employer's point of view, hiring women comes with struggles and financial responsibilities and everything else.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and I'm very open about this, it is a struggle. And when you're a small business, even though I was a very successful business, but actually employing women and running that constant risk of sickness, pregnancy, and all of this has been a big challenge for the business. Yeah.
Isn't it? When you do take on women, it's a financial strain to the business if they then don't have a baby.
Yeah,
you've got
it is, especially as a small business.
Yeah, but it's hard, I think, on women though to be founders, because you are your founder, but you go home and you carry on.
Correct.
Like, in the nicest way, majority, I won't say all of them, because I've got 4 brothers, and one of my brothers, who's got 2 children, he's very hands-on with the cooking, the cleaning, and everything like that. But a lot of my friends that I speak to with their husbands, they come home and they eat their dinner. Whereas you come home, you're cleaning, your laundry, you're doing the netball run or the football run or the laundry, sorting out the dog, But
this is where it comes in, the communication piece. But before the communication piece, in my world, it is the clarity piece. You really need to, specifically as a woman, you really need to understand yourself and what you want from your life and business.
And do it at the beginning.
Yeah, because a lot of people engage in entrepreneurship because they want the freedom of time. They want to be able to do school runs. They want to be creating a business and an income around having children. That's often a motivation for a woman. But how does this actually look like? We're mirroring our pathways on people we see out there, of we taking other people's journey as an example and almost mirror this as our pathway. But does this actually align with the life I'm living or want to live in 5 years' time? And I've made this mistake. And what happens is you're following a path and everything will fall apart eventually, because was never your path to go on.
And I don't think it exists, to be honest. To be able to have it all, it doesn't exist.
No, there is no perfect balance.
There isn't. And I will say this, like, there will be times where my business takes up all of my time. And I started a business to have that freedom, that time freedom.
Yeah.
But I'm working more now than I've ever worked in my life. Yeah. I'm working much longer hours. Like I was laying in the bath last night and my brain was going. I've got out and I'm still with my towel around me and I'm scribbling these notes down. And I'm like, it's like 9:30 at night or 8:30 at night. And you're still working. If you're not at the studio still or at the office still, you're still working. So to think that you're going to start a business and I'm going to be able to do the school run, I'm going to be able to go to the gym when I want.
I couldn't do the school run. I had to hire someone to do the school run. So I could be in my business.
I'm lucky because if I've got someone in the studio, I can't do the school run if I'm on my own. I'm really lucky I've got my mum nearby. My daughter drives now as well. So if she's not at college, she can go and pick him up. But 9 times out of 10, in fact, actually, no, every day I go to school, he's only in Hertford and I'm literally 10-minute drive away. I drive, I pick him up, I drop him home and I'm like, I'm so sorry, babe. And he's like, yeah, go, fine. It's like, he needs that time anyway to have his calm down after school. But still, I feel so guilty.
That's the guilt. Yeah.
I watch this, he's 6 foot now. I'm like, I watch my baby walking into the house and as I drive off, I'm just like, so much guilt. I'm like, I should be in there. I mean, he'd just lock himself in his room anyway and play his game and do his homework upstairs. But I'm still like, I should be there. This is what I did this for. It doesn't exist. If you think you're going to have it, it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. It will exist at some point, but
the first 5 years, it's not going to.
Or even 10 years sometimes. Yeah, and then then in my case, it was the case. My business blew up, and then
that's the thing.
Didn't happen either.
You work to be really successful, and then you get busier. You're where you want to be. You have less time because you've got to be managing all of these contracts or this business. So, I think you've got to come out of that mindset to think that you can have it all. It doesn't exist. But
you can have the best of everything.
Yes.
I strongly believe that's what I always say. So what's the best for your situation? Because we are all different.
That's such a fundamental question. What is right for you? Because what's right for you might not be right for me. And your lives, like you said earlier, you're in different seasons.
Yeah.
And when you said that, I was like, oh my God, that's the best way I've heard
Yeah.
it. You are in different seasons
Absolutely.
of your life and your journey, and you just got to go with it as and when you can.
Yeah, and you just have to really understand what that season in your life actually requires from
and
you.
Stop
and
putting so much pressure on yourself that's what it's got to be like.
And the one thing I also want to talk to you about is because we had a conversation about this, and it's one of my favorite subjects to talk about. And I know you had experience about this. When you did your business with your husband, when you started having Hertford Studio and did the renovation work of Hertford Studio, this huge project, which was never meant to be that big.
It's my baby now, though.
It's your baby now.
It.
And but people around you, how did they react?
Oh,
because I
God.
know not everyone was really supportive. And that's something what we women go through all the time with the people around us.
And the people that you expect
Yeah.
to be your biggest supporters aren't the ones that step up. I'd say my biggest supporters are people that I've met through the studio.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, my family are amazing. Like, I've got the best family. I'm really close with my dad. I'm really close with my mum. I'm really close with my stepdad. I've got 4 amazing brothers and their partners and the children. And so I am surrounded by them being the most amazing cheerleaders for me. And when I need something, they're there. Like, I've had my brothers there at 11 o'clock at night helping me move stuff around. And so I'm really lucky from that aspect. I had a friend come in and have a look at the studio. So it was a pit. It was like the first week we'd got the keys. And she actually looked around and went, "What have you done?" And I was so excited that when she said that, I was like, I felt like I'd been stabbed. I was like, oh, like, what do you mean?
What
like,
do you mean? And
do
then
you not
immediately
see-
you doubt yourself. Yeah.
And I was like, well, what do you mean? Like, do you not see like the excitement? Do you not see what this could be? And she was just like, "What have you done?" And
Is she still in your life?
she is still in my life.
Is she supportive now? Can she see your vision now? Or is she still questioning it?
So we don't talk about it.
Okay.
But what's happened is we don't see each other as often. Like, we never really did, to be fair. But there was a time where she was like, "Oh, you coming out? You coming out?" And I was like, No, I'm not coming out. I'm working this out. Oh, and then them invitations just stopped.
It fizzles out automatically because your lives aren't aligned anymore. You have just different outlooks on life.
My best friends, though, like, they might not understand what I'm doing.
Don't need to understand what you're doing.
But they are like, "Yeah, don't worry. Like, I'll come and help you paint a wall. I'll come and help you do this. My best friends." But then the ones that you kind of thought would understand don't. And that stop as well. Like, well, not everyone's going to understand what you're doing. Everyone's going to agree. Some people think that employment is the best thing and that you should be in a very secure job. Like, go to sixth form, go to university, get a good job, and that's how you live your life. And when you step out of that, for them types of people, they don't understand it and they don't like change. So don't expect everyone to be your cheerleader. Just kind of believe, and that's where I come back to me not believing in myself.
Yeah,
believe in your vision and stick to it.
But we both share a passion, and that is for other women within business. And you just said that your closest friends or your biggest supporters you found throughout your journey within business. And you actually are hosting another business event, a networking event for female businesses.
Yeah.
And I have attended your first event locally, which was the first kind of networking event in our area, which I came across, which was just for women.
Yeah.
And that was amazing. And I know that is a huge passion of you. So you actually use something which is so hard for you and so lonely.
It is lonely, isn't it? I don't think you realise how lonely it is to have a business.
Lonely.
Even if you've got a team, like I work with my husband, but it is lonely.
Yeah.
And the journey is really hard. And I'll be honest, the first time I did the event, it was around International Women's Day, and it was just to get people, because we'd only been open up 4 months. It was to get people in the door. Yeah. Start sharing it, get a bit of exposure. Oh my God, it blew up. Like, for 6 months after, people were phoning me and emailing me, "When's the next one? When's the next one?" I was like, I haven't got time for that at the moment. And then we've now got help at the studio. We've got our lovely Lois. So I was like, do you know what? Let's do it again. Yeah. And so for me, this isn't a profit-making thing. This isn't about the studio at all. This is about other women not necessarily in this area, but like local women that can come to a place, learn, be around other women that either run their own businesses or work, you know, you don't even have to own your own business, but you want to be surrounded by like-minded women, be in an environment where they're going to be encouraging, and you're going to learn from and come away inspired. That's kind of the aim.
And I like that about you.
And it is about putting something back out there, because I feel if I'd had that, well, first of all, I probably would have been too scared to go to one anyway.
I was quite scared to come to your first event, I'm not going to lie.
Most people dragged friends along.
Yes, I did as well.
I did. Because Lindsay was it? I hope she comes to the next one.
She will. She asked me already.
Oh, good. But yeah, so it was amazing, and having that many people there. And it is literally just for people to kind of go, oh, it's all right, I'm not the only person in this journey. Oh, she's already gone through that, and she's telling me, oh my God, she's going through it as well. And it's a really honest space to be in. Yeah. And it is literally just for that. I keep the ticket prices really low just to cut. I know so many people have like, you should be charging more. Like, this is a valuable event. It's not about that. It is literally to cover the catering, the rest that we're funding. And it is literally for other women to come and just be surrounded by other strong women.
So I would like to end this episode with the question I asked everyone, because I think it feeds in really well in what we just talked about. If you could give younger Charmaine at the beginning of her journey one brutal piece of advice, what would that be?
There's no such thing as work-life balance. And as soon as you come to terms with that, your journey will be so much easier. That is the biggest thing I think I could ever take away. You're going to have weeks where you're at home and you can do homemade films. You can do, you're there, you're present with your children, the house is clean and tidy. And there will be other weeks where your business is really demanding, and you're going to go home, the laundry pile is going to be overflowing. There's going to be crap all over the island or the kitchen table, whatever it is. You're going to be eating takeaways or quick pasta meals. But that is okay. And be okay that you're not always going to have it together.
Thank you for coming to the Unshakeable Talks.
Thank you for having me. I've loved it.
If you've been feeling stuck or disconnected from the woman behind your business, this is your sign. The Identity Shake-Up is my new free audio, a short, powerful reset to help you to get clear on the person who you've become and the person your business needs next. Head to the link in the show notes to access it today.